26 is March, darling, that is what I want. Leave me, let me France, 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 France. Jumping up and down inside a van. Darling, I don't want no war. I just want to dance, 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 dance.
It takes a man, a real big man, to stand by his words with true conviction. But honesty is rare and it's hard to find. So don't let no one play with your mind. Before you give up your trust, got to make it a must. To be conscious. Oh, Jesus, oh, God, double standards is the norm. As dangerous as a gun, double standards will live on. Oh, Jesus, the norm. We talk about peace, war wouldn't cease, 'cause manufacturing weapons is on the increase. We don't want barbarism in the world no more, so we send the young men to fight the war. How can we achieve peace and tranquility in the land with aggression? Oh, gee. Oh, double standards is the norm. As contagious as a young, double standards will live on. Oh, geez, oh, God. Double standards is the norm. Hey, get there. Democracy for you and me. That is what we keep hearing night and day. But them superpowers dictating to we how to run out the whole country. And we have to bite when they flex, they might raise or wrong, because they're strong. Oh, gee. Oh, God. Double standards is the norm. You could be right, even though you're wrong, 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 wrong. Double standards will live on. Oh, geez. Oh, God. Double standards is the norm. Don't go astray, do as I say. But if you do as I do, all hell will bring me. Is the greatest form of double standards today. When it gets away, then the monsters play. No more role models to give examples of the world out of control. Oh, gee. Oh, God. Double
And a good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Those of you listening locally, regionally, internationally, we say a special good night to each and every one of you. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I will be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 4 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on the Spice Isle. Yeah, I hope my audio is going through. Yeah, pretty. Chief, come on, behave yourself inside it. Right, I hope that my audio is going through all well and okay tonight. Yeah, I came into studio and the same problem from last week reoccurred tonight again, but luckily I caught on to it before 8 o'clock, so I was able to sort it out. I think. Good night to you, Amisha. I see that you're tuned in.
So the treasury broke and they say that recession jamming. So go forward, countries really start migrating.
And good night to you, Lisha Abraham, Gavin Thomas, Shamanda Gentle, Gemma Warwood, Agnes Henry, Phyllis Mitchell, Errol Bonaparte, Dominic Leroy, Hillary Joseph, Baby Daddy, Carl W. Jones, Wilfred Antoine, Alban Harris, Kathleen Ledlow, Faith Lynn, Harley Douglas, Deborah Laborde, Carib Spice, Jesse Sherry's been a while, I ain't see her, you know, what's up? Michelle Alexander, Adrian Watts, Matthew Boyne, Adrian Watts and Matthew Boyne, back to back, my two good friends up there. Marilyn Panchu, Janice Mitchell, Edmund Caliste, Kashima Roberts, Anna Lewis, Gertrude Abraham, yeah, Janet Bennett, Jerome Lewis, Alan Jones, Vesta Braffett, Christine Otley, Clive Raymond, Maud Martin, Jacinta Alves, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant. Good night. Roland Batiste, Elsie Peters, Kathleen Knights, Maria Noel, Miriam Bowen, let me see, Sky. Good night to you, Hermina Batiste, Chief Kamahona, call you already. Shanron Thomas, Jakeem Williams, Sherma Jeremiah, Eliza Bernard, Good Life Angie, Vanessa Lalji, Iva Holas, Dolores Redhead, Henry Shaitan, good night. Roy Jackie, Jacket Man, I know you're there somewhere. And Stephanie John, you and the entire home circle, Tati, your husband, everybody, good night. Cindy Thomas, good night to you. Marilyn Ferguson, my good friend. And Andrews Lucy, Andrew Sandra Pascal, Kenny Buckmeyer, Beavis John, let us see, Dave Felix. Hey, and let me say a special good night to Zayla, to Zoe, and to Exalia. I say a special good night to three of you. You know that children. It's about a fourth child, but I have to find the parent again to give me the name again because the name went in and then something take my attention and the name fall out. So I had to get back the name. I had to punch it in one time so I can remember that child name because the child listening every night to hear she name and Uncle Sheldon forget the name. I'll make sure, I'll make it up to you. You'll get called 2 and 3 times a program just to make it up to you, all right? Yes, indeed, folks. For tonight, the WhatsApp number is down for now. Yeah, the WhatsApp number is down for now. As you know, with these different things, they update every now and again. So it is in the process of updating right now. So it's not up fully right now. So it's in the process of updating. As soon as it's ready, I'll let you all know. All right? And to the listeners who are listening via 91.9, 91.5. Want to say a special good night to you, those of us joining us via Real FM. Sister Ryle FM was supposed to be on with us. I was trying to contact Linton. I've been trying to contact you, but I haven't been able to reach you. Yeah, so we had a talk. Nice, good. Right, over on Facebook, let me say a special good night to Diana Romney. Right, Diana Romney. Miss anything properly. You see when you're playing them word games today, just tie you up. Tegwa, Ingrid Bourne, Patsy Budd, Sherms Houston, June Julian, and Dennis Fabio, Glenda Robinson, Lynn Joseph, Yolan Mitchell Maureen, Cicely Celestine, Davis Joseph, good night, and adorable Kathy Gilbert Levine, my great cousin, good night to you. Jill Williams, Louise Williams, Ashley Lewis, Sonny Green, Cleaver Williams, Marvin Julian, Hermione Calise, Norma Roberts, Laslyn Douglas, Joan Henry, Wendy Ann C. McGuire, Nursey, good night to you. Kathy Pop, good night. Teresa Collymore, Courtney Yvonne, and Devon Romain, comrade. My good comrade, man. Bernadette A. Joseph. Yeah, Glenda John, Max and Francis out there in Petit Martinique, representing for Petit Martinique each and every night. Donna Langdon and Maxan, tell your mom and your dad a special good night for me, right? Don't bother with Cassian and them. You ain't telling Cassian nothing. Donna Langdon, Francis Pierre, good night to you. Junius Mason, Andre Donald, a special good night to you. Hey, my good friend. Yeah, my good friend, AC Major. I ain't find her here in you, eh? Yeah, Alan Campbell. Nice. I ain't find her here in you, my number here, understand? Make a little call. I know it does stay up sometime, but you know. Junius Mason, Peggy Garcia Shaitan. The Buzz Boss is on. Mosquito Man. Good night. Magdalene Mindy Edwards. Jen Charles. Gigi. Yeah, see all of you all there. If you ain't on, I know that you're being called on. So a special good night to each and every one of you. We got quite a lot to speak about tonight. We have quite a lot to speak about tonight. But you know, sometimes I just have to take a look at reminder of the thing. Yeah, so sometimes we have to go, you know. You just let me know. You can message once the audio. In fact, if the audio was giving problems, I'm pretty sure most of you would have messaged me already. So I'm pretty sure it's okay. Philip, my dear, last night I thought was you in here. Where did you go? I was tempted to actually do a program over the weekend, you know. By the way, folks, hey, Miss Simon, good night to you. A question though. Where is the Honorable Ron Redhead? I hearing you in Asia, my brother, not in Grenada. The government of Grenada stopped let you know when different ministers are out. I hearing it might be in Korea or somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if you go and see Kim Il Sung or Jung or whatever you name, the fella name over there. I don't know if it's that Korea you go in or the next Korea, but in Korea. You go and see, maybe you go and join them after you come out from seeing Putin and thing, you go to see him, you know. But at least, over the years, it has become customary to let the public know when government ministers have traveled. We are seeing under this administration that that's no longer the thing. Ministers can travel. In fact, some ministers are spending most of a month outside of Grenada. Yeah? And again, they're coming back with nothing except memories. But they have been spending a lot of time outside of Grenada. Yeah? And you're not even knowing because there's no release that comes out that says Minister so-and-so is traveling. But even scarier than that is that these things are supposed to be gazetted when Minister A takes over for Minister B. For in other words, if someone is holding the portfolio of the minister when he travels, not only does that person have to go down to the Governor General and sign that for the period, whether it's a few days or a few weeks or whatever it is, that person is holding the portfolio on behalf of the other individual, because they cannot be the minister when they're not in the island. They have to be within the state of Grenada to have the powers of the minister. Yeah, with the exception, I think, of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who are allowed to act on behalf of Grenada outside of Grenada and sign documents and so on. But generally, your ministerial powers do not extend outside of Grenada. As such, someone else has to be appointed in your stead when you leave. That person, that statement that due to the fact that Minister A or B is traveling, that is supposed to be gazetted. I checked last week, Friday's Gazette. There's nothing there about any ministers traveling, but several of them are outside. Yeah? Some of them, it's not gazetted at all. Even the Prime Minister, when he travels, it's supposed to be gazetted. We know that the Prime Minister traveled last week. Well, we were hearing one minister was supposed to be the minister, and then we hear is our next minister. Whatever took place, you know, one minister, I don't know if one minister couldn't wake up to go, whatever take place. But Minister A was not to go, and Minister B ended up going. Now, what took place, well, actually, in this case, is Minister D and then Minister A ended up going. But anyhow, that took place. It's not gazetted. It's not in the government gazette that this minister, the prime minister, has been traveling, and as such, minister so-and-so is holding his portfolio or the portfolios under him for that period of time while he's traveling. Yeah, so we're seeing all sorts of things happening here that ought not to be happening. So right now I'm hearing, by the way, that Minister Redhead may be in some way in Korea. I don't know if he go on and eat kimchi or if he go and learn Korean or if he go and learn how to do one of the Korean styles of martial arts. So I don't know what he go and do over there. But the bottom line is that it should be announced to the Grenadian people that the minister has traveled, what he's traveling to, yeah, etc. That should be, if you check during the period of the New National Party, there were releases always saying this minister is traveling, that minister is traveling, and so on. We're not seeing that happening now for whatever reason. And then on top of that, when you ask for the listing in relation to travel and how much it has cost and that sort of thing, you're not getting it. Yeah, they're using all tricks and so on to not give it to you. We have to know when the ministers travel. We need to know where they go, what they go and do. Because they're coming back and they're not even holding a press conference to say, well, I attended this meeting and I've come back, and these are some of the benefits that I have already got or that we will get later down the line for the state of Grenada. No, they're just totally disrespectful. But again, as I said, they don't care. They get a trip, they jump a plane, they travel first class, they go, they eat nice food, they see nice places, they get to stamp something in their passport, been to Korea, wherever, and they come back home, and then it come like nothing. All right? Yeah, so that's what's taking place. Yes, Dixie Ann, as they said, my good friend Dixie Ann, they said it's on a need-to-know basis here. You need to know. So they don't think that we need to know. So just jump a plane, go about their business and so on, yeah? I wish I could have played the Joyride rhythm, you know. If I can't play it, go get flagged by Facebook and they'll take down my video. And you know, over the weekend, I took the opportunity as well. And let me just pause the music here. Over the weekend, I took the opportunity to listen to 2 press briefings that were held on Friday. Now, we know that initially there was a release that said that they were going to have a press conference on Friday, and we saw that press conference thingy coming up. Yeah, we saw that press conference thingy coming up, that they're having a press conference and it's going to be broadcast live and that sort of thing. Yeah, this one, we saw this. And, you know, I like to show you when I speak. And so we saw this, that they're having that press conference, and the press conference would be live and so on, yeah? And we saw the Government Information Service extends an invitation to the general public to join the live broadcast via GIS Channel 22, GIS Facebook page, and etc., etc., right? So we saw that. And then, then after that, what happened is that we saw another release coming out, that said this instead. We saw this being put up. The briefing will be aired on GIS Channel 22 subsequently. So they changed the intention from broadcasting live to not broadcasting at all, and then going and do what they had to do and cut out what they had to cut out and broadcast. Finally, it ended up in a situation, where on Friday morning, the same morning they said they're not going to broadcast, they ended up broadcasting and then said it was an error. It was no error. Poor the GIS staff had to come out and repeat that lie. It was not an error. The full intent was to give the public an edited version of that press conference. There is no way that GIS on its own, and you can't fool me. Yeah, I was in charge of GIS at a point in time, and I know the government service runs. I've been involved in government for quite a few years, so you can't fool me with that. Yeah, GIS would never send out that release unless it was verified that this is the direction that they're going. It was not a mistake. You all had an intent to only let the public hear what you wanted them to hear and to control the narrative, Yeah? By cutting out what you want to cut out, leaving what you want to leave in, that sort of thing. But if we had not called you out, not just me, but if we had not called you out via this program, and the callers on this program, and the viewers, the commenters on this program, had not called you all out and embarrassed you on Thursday night, you all had all full intention to broadcast that afterwards when you had a time to cut out where you want to cut out from it and put in where you want to put out. We ain't like how you answer that question. Answer it again. We go tape it like if that's how you answer it in it. That was your intention. Yeah, so don't come and give an impression and all kind of thing. And we'll come back to that because, again, when I was looking at this, no, not this one. Let me just pull it back again. When I was looking at this initially, and I just showed you this, there was something that kind of stood out in relation to the people who were at the press conference for the Housing Authority of Grenada. Yeah? Something stood out there to me. Because you had the Honorable Minister of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Mr. Philip Telesford. You had Mr. Hugh Thomas, who's the chairman of the Housing Authority of Grenada, the accountant to the Housing Authority of Grenada. You had the Chief Technical Officer, Mr. Mark Paul, good guy. Miss Nicole Beggs, the Marketing and Customer Service Officer. Yeah, Mrs. Giselle Charles, I mentioned the accountant, and so on. So you had these people who were representing the Housing Authority. I found it very strange. Where is the manager? Because if you're doing something in relation to the GIS and you're going to bring chairman, accountant, technical officer, all this thing, if you're doing that with the NIS, you bring the manager of the NIS. You're doing something with the Stadium Authority, you bring the manager of the Stadium Authority. But in this case, I was wondering, well, why are we not seeing, I think it's Mr. Sylvester, Mr. Ronnie Sylvester. Why were we not seeing his name as one of the people there? Only to be hearing this morning, and looking for confirmation. Mr. Minister, I know you does listen to the program and that kind of thing. What I go tell you? I heard he resigned this morning. Yeah? So I've heard that the manager of the Housing Authority of Grenada has turned in his resignation this morning. Mr. Minister, we would like to know the circumstances surrounding the resignation of the goodly gentleman, because we know he's quite competent, quite capable, well-liked individual. Yeah? So we'd like to know what are the circumstances that are surrounding his resignation, if indeed he did resign, because I'm telling you, I'm hearing that. Yeah? So if it's not true, come out and say it's not true. But from what I am hearing, Mr. Sylvester, again, the manager of the Housing Authority of Grenada, has handed in his resignation as of today. Yeah? So if it's not true, because you know it's here, we just have to tell all of that. Because remember, when is the chairman of the board of Grenlec, or whether it's the manager of Nawasa, the manager of Nawasa, remember, he's making his final round of meetings before he goes off fully on his thing. The commissioner of police, he's gone off and so on. So yeah, it's a lot of people. They're just one after the other, just going. And Mr. Sylvester is now an old man to say that he reached retirement age and he's ready to go and retire or something. So there must be a significant reason why he, especially after that press conference took place on Friday, without the manager. Yeah? So the press conference, such an important press conference in relation to the Housing Authority of Grenada, and we'll come to the press conference in a while, took place on Friday, and the manager was not there. Was he not invited? Was he not there? What was the reasoning behind him not being there? And then to hear today that he resigned today. Because a lot of Tata get talking in that press conference too, Yeah. Housing Authority have some brilliant people working down there. Excellent. The accountant, the lady, these people know what they're about. Yeah? But for the minister to give the impression that over the years, Housing Authority didn't know what they're doing and they just do things. And I mean, come on, man. You can't be doing that kind of thing. So now we're hearing, added to the list of all the others that have resigned or been fired or pushed out, like the manager at the National Stadium. Yeah, Miss Fields. They make sure they make Miss Fields go. Right? So Miss Fields, I hearing gravel and concrete. Yeah. You're hearing you heard Mr. Andal, he was the chairman of the board and acting manager at Marketing and National Importing Board. And you hear him, he go because he give the reason. He say he go because they don't listening. They ask the board to come up with solution in relation to something. When the board come up with the solution, they say, yeah, we tell you come up with a solution, but we ain't really want that solution. This is the solution we using. Yeah? So Mr. Andal, he leave. He can't put add name to that. He's a successful businessman, built a business in Grenada over the years. He can't allow himself to be called into that. Right? So he go away. But this is the sort of thing that we see happening here on a constant basis. So one after the other, people are separating themselves from this government. The managers, when they see the kind of madness and craziness that some of these people going on, I mean, the press conference was a clear indication. Clear indication of the madness that's going on in this place right now. So now the manager of the housing authority, from what we are picking up, gone. Resign. Whether they accept it, they don't accept it, I don't know. From what I hear, they get a letter today. He gone. Yeah? If it's not true, the minister, the housing authority of Grenada, I know they can find time to get onto the radio and so on and send out a release or whatever. Yeah? Or the Ministry of Housing or whatever. I think the Prime Minister is somewhere around. I surely could find him. But we're hearing that the manager of the housing authority gone. We'd like to know. I would really like to pick his brain and find out what are the reasons behind. Because when I listened to that press conference on Friday, I know I ain't even talking about the police press conference. We'll come to that. We ain't much to say about that one. But when it comes to that housing authority press conference, because you know why? Let me say this before I delve into some other aspects of that press conference. I've said here before, and I'll say it again, that it seems as though only the people without the means, only the poorer people in Grenada are the ones being pressured. While those who have means and the friends of ministers and so on, those are the ones that enjoying the bounty. Meanwhile, some of the people down there who ain't even sure where they're getting the money to send their child to school tomorrow, who is not even sure where they're going to find the funds to feed their family for the rest of the week or the rest of the month, these are the people who the pressure is being placed on. And I'll use examples, When it came to reduction of the freight on the port, remember, it was said during the campaign, this is going to cause such a wonderful effect on the Grenadian economy because it's going to lower the price of living, the cost of living. Yeah? It's going to lower the cost of living and everybody would get things at a cheaper rate because we're going to reverse the freight cost at the port to the 2019 levels so that there would be some savings there by the businesses that they ought to, notice the word ought to, pass on to the consumer. That didn't take place. So government lost $5 million in that venture that was not well thought out, not well planned, was rushed into without any proper strategy of how to ensure that businesses pass those savings on to the consumer. So the businesses, big businesses, friends of the NDC, and also some of them, not all, some of them who fund the NDC campaign and fund individual candidates of the NDC campaign, they are the ones that benefited big time from that $5 million that the government lost. Meanwhile, you, I, and the rest of the Grenadian population did not see any benefit from that. 5 million. The same amount of money that they're asking for right now for the housing authority to fix those buildings. 5 million. Yeah? That the government gave up. They've also given up. They've given a tax break to everybody. Yeah, me, you, everybody who owes tax. I know tax. All who owe tax, go in and pay. You have up until the 31st of December. Yeah, Mr. Andy Williams, you're here because we know you're over 2 million. So if you pay 500,000, you could save yourself having to pay 2 million after. But anyhow, so all persons who are owing taxes, yeah, big businesses, because you know it has some big businesses who are a couple million and thing. You even have people sitting in cabinet who are a couple million and thing through their businesses. Yeah, and we ain't talking VAT day yet. We just talking corporate income tax. And so we just talking those things, corporate income tax and stamp tax. And you're already, if you pay 500,000, you could save yourself paying 2 million plus in interest and penalties. Mr. Williams? Right. So them so would benefit from what has been put in place by the government. Right? Yes. Because we like to be fair here. Some homeowners and so on who have not paid their property tax over the years and so, you have until December 31st to pay up and then save yourself having to pay the penalties and interest, or, because remember Mr. Cornwall says straight up, he taking your land. If all you think all ain't going and pay, and then December 31st reach, January 1st is a different kettle of fish you're dealing with. So they will seize your property. He said it. Yeah? They're not going to dilly-dally around with this thing. So, many of the big businesses, yeah, many of the big businesses, they are the ones benefiting from this, that have not paid corporate income tax or they've not paid stamp tax, hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in some instances. So they're benefiting because they got into a payment plan, making sure that they pay by the 31st of December and saving themselves all those penalties and so. Meanwhile, the poor people who living in Sobeys and in Frequente and so on, right, they are being called upon to pay. No problem. You could call upon them to pay. They have to pay, right? They'll pay. But at the same time, you are applying interest to the payments that they now have to make. You're not even saying, well, okay, we're going to give them, since we're giving the other people, the rich people, the people with lands and with business and so on, since we're giving the people who pay in personal income tax, so therefore they're earning significant amounts of money more than this category of people who are in the low income housing. Again, low income, it means that these people don't have high salaries, right? So no one is saying that these people ought not to pay. But the way that you're going about it, first of all, by coming out and do that press conference, you have now labeled every single man and woman living in the housing scheme as bad pay. Every one of them. Even if they have totally paid for their apartment or their building, if they have paid off totally and they don't owe the government of Grenada anything, it's theirs, you have labeled all of them by the way in which you came out with that press conference and spoke. Yeah? Because basically, what you all are saying, without saying it directly, is you are threatening these people with eviction. Somebody that most likely cannot even pay, because even if they're working, don't mean that they can make the payments, you know. The cost of living has been increasing significantly. And therefore, the 200 that some of us might look at and say, well, 200 they can't pay, that may have been eroded. They might only be able to pay 50 and they have been paying the 50, but you're seeing that they're still owing. It could be situations like that. But you have lumped everybody. You pay, you don't pay. So now everybody in Grenada and outside, look at anybody who address is in any of those housing scheme as bad pay. Because you say 75% of them ain't paying, that kind of thing. Again, nobody is saying that they don't have to pay. But it is the manner in which you do it. You're dealing with human beings. Some of you all operate like if you're dealing with robots and you're dealing with figures out in the sky, and you're not dealing with women who have children, single fathers who have the children that they're seeing after and so on. Sometimes it might be a grandmother who has her grandchildren with her trying to survive. You're all dealing with these people as though they're just a number. You know, like in the Nazi concentration camp, they take away a name and they give you a number and they refer to you by a number because they try to dehumanize you. That is what these individuals operating like. They dehumanize these people. So now everybody looking down at them as though they are nobody. They ain't paying. And you all still want to charge them interest. Listen, take off the interest. They don't can't pay already. Take off the interest. And if you want to get the money, you go to them, you say, well, okay, we're putting you on a payment plan. And I did hear the accountant give a good account of herself saying that, yes, listen, Some people have come in. In fact, they've sent out 300 letters. Only about 30 people come in. 10%, she said. So it's about 30 people, 20-something, 30, according to how much letters they sent out, right? Came in. She said roughly 10% of the people responded to the letters. Yeah, some of the people may be frightened. You could find them. You know where they're living, and it's not like you don't know where they're living. Right? But get into an arrangement with these people, because they even said people are owing 1 month. They're going to treat them the same way. Get into an arrangement with these people and sort it out so that on a monthly basis, even if you have to reschedule the loan or whatever you have to do, that these people can pay, and cut out the interest. You're charging the people interest. The same government that's saying that they can't find $2 million to fix here and $5 million to fix there. Find $2 million to print a note. They find $5 million for a non-existent activity. Because up to now, we have not seen a logo. We have not heard a theme. We have not seen a press conference. We have not seen a schedule of activities for Independence 50th anniversary 2024. We are still in 2023. This government in their supplementary passed $7.5 million for activities for the rest of this year. Those monies are not for 2024. Those monies are for 2023. And it's telling me that they want to pressure these people who already can't pay, because it's poor people again. Don't pressure those that have the money. Don't pressure those with the big business that's still owing $2 million, $3 million, and the end of the year is just 3 months away. Don't pressure them. But the people who unemployed, underemployed, living on pension, yeah, pressure them. That's what they're going after, because they don't care. And again, it's not surprising to me, because within myself, I've come to the understanding that these people care about no one but themselves. Each one of them only care about themselves. They don't care about people. They give the impression, they come out, they do this, they do that, and at the end of the day, they do it because they expect some political capital to come out of it. So they go and they do this, they do that, that kind of thing, but it's not in the interest of the people. Yeah? And then, there were some statements that were made, and I want to go over one or two of them. There were some statements that were made on, let me see. There were some statements that were made on Friday, and I want to go over one or two of them tonight. I really seriously want to go over one or two of them, and I want you all to go over those statements with me, because I want to find out if I mad and them saying, or them saying and I mad, or if me and you all mad and them saying and me and you all mad. So I want to find out exactly what it is that's going on. So I want to play something here. I want to play something here because I want you all, to pay attention to what is being said. They're pretty short, but I want you all to pay attention to what is being said in these clips. All right? I want you all to listen carefully to what is being said.
I want to use this opportunity to give the government's commitment to the Housing Authority of Grenada, and by extension the people of Grenada. Our commitment are as follows. We commit to ensuring that the Housing Authority of Grenada will be run as a genuine business entity. This means that service delivery must be consistent with good business practices, and that financial and operational procedures must be so done with prudence. 2, we commit to allowing the board of directors to function as a professional body without undue political interference or meddling. 3, we commit that the board will be given the power to function properly and use the means at its disposal to collect outstanding arrears. We commit to providing resources to the Housing Authority of Grenada for the repair that is needed for Phase 1. Fifthly, we commit to providing proper strategic and policy directives to the Board of Directors. And finally, we commit to providing the resources to the authority as needed to enable it to function independently as any other statutory body or any other business for that matter, and properly. Thank you very much.
So yes, folks, you've heard the minister there. One, he said with little so in other words, they still intend to give a little bit of political. Let me see if we could find where he said it. Yeah, somewhere around there, I think he said. Let me hear what he said about political.
Of directors to function as a professional body without undue political interference.
Without undue, so they intend to interfere politically, but he said without undue political interference. So there will be political interference, eh? So let's hear that again.
Without undue political interference or meddling.
Well,
without undue political interference or meddling.
No, it means that they do intend to interfere politically with it, because you're saying no political interference and so on. There are people out there who boast in that minister tell them they get in house already in St. David's and in Beaujeu and so on, you know. There are people out there who are saying that they were already told by certain ministers, yeah, and even political activists, don't worry, you go get a place in Beaujeu, and don't worry, you go get a place in Corinth and so on. But yet still, he's talking about no undue political interference. Let me hear what else he had to say there again.
3, we commit that the board will be given the power, to function properly and use the means at its disposal to collect outstanding arrears.
That is a direct thing that all you won't pay to throwing all you out, eh? Just no understand where it come from. Yeah? When he says these words, they give the board all right. In other words, they are trying to absolve themselves. So they're going to say, no, we, no cabinet that do it. No, that's housing authority that Massa Bull, Massa Cow. Same people. Yeah? Don't let it fool all you with that kind of thing. They come in fact, listen to it again.
Properly. And use the means at its disposal to collect outstanding arrears.
So how all you know that mean if all you pay? Bye-bye, eh? Yeah. If all you mean, not only if all you pay, if all you can't pay, it means bye-bye. Yeah? The mere fact that he could use that sort of language indicates that the board will be given a free hand. Government is giving them a free hand to do whatever they have to do to those poor people in those places. Yeah? And there are the reasons they're doing it too, you know. They have the reasons that they're doing it. Let's hear what else he had to say.
We commit to providing resources to the Housing Authority of Grenada for the repair that is needed for Phase 1.
So they commit to give them the money, but yet still they're saying the repairs can't be done because the people in pain. So that is why they're trying to pressure the people to put are not taking phone calls yet. That is why they're trying to pressure the people to kick them out. Yeah? That is why they're trying to pressure the people to kick them out. Yeah? So the same way that they spend how much million on being able to travel between the 23rd of June last year and now. Right now you're hearing people all in Korea, nothing out there. You know, who does be in Germany, who does be in Africa, all over. Who does be in India and come back dressing like if they think there's Modi with a Nehru suit, all kind of thing. But you ain't hearing nothing until when they come back. Yeah? You ain't hearing nothing until when they come. And so when they come back, is when you hear sometime that they went, you know. And when they come back, they still ain't holding a press conference. It's just, by the way, you go here, Minister So was there, and by the way, here, Minister So was there. Yeah? But that is what is taking place. Right? So we've heard from the minister there. Right? They commit to giving the resources. Why you had to come and try to embarrass these? Because they're poor and they're vulnerable, ain't it? Because they're vulnerable. Because some of them are mothers who have children and the father's not around. Because some of them are fathers that's struggling with the children. Because some of them are grandmothers and or grandfathers that are struggling there with grandchildren and so on. Some of these people are retirees. Some of these people are retirees. Some of these people, they have no fixed income coming in a serious way outside of a little pension that they're still using and try and pay and so on. So what you're going to do? Take these old people and throw them out? Because you're the one that's saying that you give the housing authority the full, do what you had to do to get your money. Yeah? You all ain't even thinking, well, okay, some of these people are retirees and so on. Right? The state of Grenada can make an arrangement and say, okay, we're going to cut your payment in half, or we're going to give you the apartment or so on. What about that? No. Get your money how you could. And we know what the third letter means. The third letter means out. That's the intention. And we know, for instance, in certain areas why you want to do that. We know that when it comes to Soubise, in your minds, you believe that a significant number of the voters in Soubise, in the housing project, support a particular political party that is not yours. And in your minds, these are the people that you're targeting that if they don't pay by a certain time, you're going to kick them out. And put in who? Your own people. Because when you look at the numbers of how much you want St. Andrew Southwest by, if you add a little 100, if you add a little 200, even if you add a little 40, and there are children that turn 18 and thing, yeah, it could nice you up going into the next election. And when it comes to the Tonga St. George, and you look at the numbers in relation to how much you lost by within the town of St. George, and you go up in fact, you know what they're calling up in, the one up in Mount Gay there, let's call it Peterville. Yeah, because they find Peter David picture up, all kind of thing. So they're calling up there Peterville. All you didn't know that there, they were calling up there Peterville. So they want to get rid of some of the people up in Peterville. Because they think if they do that, they could balance off the numbers in the Tonga St. George. Yes, we know part of it is in Northeast, but they could balance off the numbers in the Tonga St. George politically. You all didn't realize that is what they're doing, right? And that is what they're using the housing authority to do. But they're putting all the blame on the housing authority. No wonder your manager had to get up and walk out today. No wonder he had to resign. Yeah, because he ain't going to take the fall for that. If I was he, I just using suppositions. Yeah, I wouldn't take the fall for that. If I was he. You all know very well what you're doing. And it's wicked. Yeah? If that was people of a certain income bracket living there, we, Papa, they ain't calling no press conference, ain't nothing about that. Quietly, they're trying to resolve the issue with the people. But no, they decide they want to embarrass these people on a national level. So now every man, woman, and child living up in these places are branded. They are branded. And don't think I'm just saying that. You go on the streets. You go on the streets, and especially from their people, they brand these people now as the bad pay. They want to pay. They didn't ask the circumstances. They didn't ask nothing. How can we help you? Is there something we can do to help you be able to pay? Nothing like that. Pay or else. That's the attitude of the minister, not the workers at the housing authority. I feel sorry for them. Because they are getting policy directives of where they have to go. And then, the minister said something that I think was the most dangerous thing that he said in that press conference on Friday. And I'll get to the comments in a little while. You know, sometime when I'm flowing. I'll get to the comments in a while, and I'm still trying to get the WhatsApp line up. I'll open the phone lines in a while. Not yet, but I'll open the phone lines in a while. When it comes to a statement that the minister made here, I saw it as one of the most dangerous statements that has been made since the NDC came into power on June the 23rd. I seriously saw that statement as a very, very dangerous statement that was made. And I'm going to play that one for you right now. Let me just make sure I have my audio up. All right, so I'm going to play that one for you now.
I also asked if that report that was done, the technical report, was it presented to the Cabinet of Ministers, and what were their view on it?
that particular report was shared with the Prime Minister. I have not submitted that report. I did not submit it to Cabinet. To be honest, and I'll be frank, I thought the report was so colorful. It was so negative that I figured that I would just share it with the Prime Minister and ask the board to do what they need to do to correct the situation. But suffice it to say, on occasions I've mentioned to Cabinet on several occasions the state of affairs of the Housing Authority of Grenada. So I've done that consistently. Portions that I figure that I want to communicate to the Cabinet. Sometimes I believe we have to be careful and we have to exercise wisdom in the way we treat with information. It's not that I'm withholding information deliberately from Cabinet, but the position is that we are given responsibility to do some things. We know what we have to do, and that is properly communicated. And as a result of that, we want to ensure that this is done properly. Now, I could have simply said to you this morning, yes, because significant information as gathered and collected have been communicated to Cabinet. And when I spoke in Parliament, I made a reference to significant portions of the report. Because this is not the first time I'm talking about rotten railings, molds, and all of these things. But, so in other words, we have communicated the depth of this report to Cabinet. But the actual report itself, as received, have not been delivered to Cabinet in that way. Thank you.
Now, in relation to this, I'm still trying to understand how a minister, who is the minister with responsibility for a particular area and has to report to Cabinet, because it's a Cabinet decision to do certain things, right? A minister doesn't really operate on their own. They may have their own views and so on in relation to things, but they operate as part of a unit. Yeah? So when they give a directive, any minister in Cabinet could be accused of giving that directive as well. Right? Because there's I forget how they call it, but there's a theme that runs through the entire thing that basically says everybody takes responsibility for the decisions that are made through Cabinet and then passed on through ministers. That's why you bring things to Cabinet and you discuss it. From the words of the minister there, it does not seem as though he has any faith in the present Cabinet. Because I realize he started to scratch the back of his head. And he said, to be truthful, he didn't bring it to Cabinet. You have an important report in relation to something that says that you have to pay over $5 million to fix, a $5 million problem to fix. Yeah? You have a detailed report in relation to that. And you're saying that you don't have enough confidence in the ability of your Cabinet to discuss that issue and come out with a realistic approach outside of just throwing out people. And I see the comment about in the real world, people are thrown out. Listen, these buildings belong to the people, because it belongs to the government of Grenada. It was given to the government of Grenada and people of Grenada by the Chinese for the people of Grenada. The people are the government. Yeah? So this is not a private property that you ain't paying your private property and somebody kick you out. This is government low income. You know that these people, when they were going there, that they had a low income. They went through 2 years of COVID, which I tend to think a lot of us does want to forget in this place. They went through nearly 3 years of COVID, where basically nothing was taking place in 2020 and hardly anything in 2021. And yet still, you didn't see the government say, well, here's what. We are going to let you pay half for the year 2020 or 2021. Instead of paying the full thing, we're going to take half or whatever it is. No, nothing like that. Remember, these are the same people that take $150 from disabled people and little children and elderly, but make sure that they give themselves $2,500 a month, $24,000 a year. These are the same people that make sure they did that. So to come and say in the real world, this is the real world. These are real people. What are you going to do? Throw them on the streets? Take the mattress and thing and put it outside and tell them joke it down by the side of the road and sleep there? Go underneath a coconut tree or mango tree and take a night rest there, and if rain fall too bad? You have to find realistic approaches of how you're going to deal with this. And the present approach is not realistic. It is not. Yes, we understand that repairs have to be done to the building. Yes, we understand that you have to do repairs to the roof and so on. But there are certain things that they can focus on and make sure that those things are done instead of spending money on the other things that they're spending money on right now. Like the non-existent pre-independence activities that ought to be taking place between now and December 31st for that $5.5 or $5 million that they got during the supplementary they passed a couple weeks ago. So instead of focusing on people, the elderly that living in these places, the retirees, or even some of the younger people, but they ain't working. Some of these people have worked on and off since COVID. The places that they work closed down, all sorts of things. And you're going to just say, just what? Get rid of them? Just put them out? Is that the approach? You're not going to say, well, okay, 2020 was COVID, 2021 was COVID. We are either going to say, well, okay, we're going to give you a ease up for those 2 years, or we're going to give you a reduction for those 2 years. Nothing like that. Instead, they're applying interest on any money that was owed during that time. And some people, while they may be paying now, they may not have paid during that period, so they're behind in the payments. And they are being charged interest on that. Meanwhile, you have government ministers who could find out $400,000 and pay off, and they ain't have to pay no interest and no penalties and so. But the poor people have to find it. That's why I say they don't like people. And then the last clip I played showed that there is a lack of trust by Mr. Telesford in relation to those in the cabinet. In fact, listen to it again. Listen to it again.
So ask if that report that was done, the technical report, was it presented to the cabinet of ministers, and what were their view on it?
That particular report was shared with the Prime Minister. I have not submitted that report. I did not submit it to cabinet.
So that's the first thing. He did not submit that report to cabinet. He's doing a press conference based on a report that he did not submit first to cabinet. So in other words, he want to hear what Tevin had to say. He ain't find Tevin of the intellectual capacity to discuss that particular issue. He want to hear what Karine have to say. He want to hear what Teflon Ron had to say. He want to hear what Andy had to say. As far as he's concerned, he and the Prime Minister are working on this one for themselves. That's not how a cabinet operates. That's not how a government operates. Yeah, but hear him.
To be honest, and I'll be frank, I thought the report was so colorful. It was so negative that I figured that I would just share it with the Prime Minister and ask the board to do what they need to do.
So in other words, the board is now carrying out directives of the Prime Minister and the Minister and not the Cabinet of Grenada. That's wrong. The minister is the minister in cabinet. I don't know, maybe these guys need to learn how the Westminster system operates or something, because what he's saying there is madness. You cannot have such an important report. A little report on something happened within a ministry or so, you just find that ending up in cabinet documents. An incident take place sometime, you find that ending up in cabinet documents. But something like this, in relation to the life and livelihoods of so many people involving such a quantum of money, and you're telling me that the minister just decide, I'll talk with the Prime Minister about that. So he go and talk with the Prime Minister, and between two of them they decide. You see why people like Mr. Andal of Andals and Associates had to distance himself and move out from this kind of thing? Because that is the way that they're operating. They're not operating as a team. You don't find that the rest of the people inside there. Let's hear what he had to say. We hearing him, eh? There's not me saying it. He's saying it.
Correct the situation. But suffice it to say, on occasions I've mentioned to cabinet, on several occasions, the state of affairs of the Housing Authority of Grenada. So I've done that consistently. Portions that I figure that I want to communicate to the cabinet.
So Remember, Dixiani was saying it earlier, need to know basis. So he was giving them what he thinks. They might think something else important, but he was giving them what he thinks is important. So he was telling cabinet what he feel like telling them.
That I figure that I want to communicate to the cabinet. Sometimes I believe we have to be careful and we have to exercise wisdom in the way we treat with information.
This man is talking about his cabinet colleagues, you know. So he's saying it would be a stupid thing to bring that information from that report into cabinet. No, he said you have to be careful with how you treat with information. Information in cabinet is not something that you take and you just walk outside with and you say, hey boy, you know we was discussing that in cabinet today, boy? Yeah, and there's what this one say and there's what that one say and this one say that and no. There's an oath of secrecy that covers cabinet. But with the New National Party, we had post-cabinet press briefing where they decide, listen, this was discussed. Minister so, you go out and speak on that particular issue. If you need to take a technical person, it's something that's happening. The Grenadian people know what need to know what is happening. But this minister thinks that is okay. Talk to your prime minister in relation to it and don't bring it to cabinet. Nah, that is not important. Millions of dollars, but don't bring that issue to cabinet. You could mention to them what you think they need to know. Tell them some railings rusty and roof leaking here and there and some windows and locks need replacing, but don't go fully in depth in it.
I believe we have to be careful and we have to exercise wisdom in the way we treat with information.
So in other words, he's saying it would be stupid to bring that information to cabinet because probably he knows the cabinet that he's dealing with. He probably knows the types of individual and the capacities within the cabinet. So he's saying you have to be careful. But the rest of all you sit down in the cabinet and had a man saying that about all your boy?
I believe we have to be careful and we have to exercise wisdom in the way we treat with information. It's not that I'm withholding information deliberately from cabinet, but the position is that we are given responsibility to do some things. We know what we have to do, and that is properly communicated. And as a result of that, we want to ensure that this is done properly. Now, I could have simply said to you this morning, yes, because significant information as gathered and collected have been communicated to cabinet.
But again, that's the selected information because he for himself has said that it would be wrong. You can't just give all the information. You basically have to be selective. That's what the man been saying. And folks, that is a dangerous something. How many other ministers are operating in the same way that Minister Telesford is operating? How many ministers think that there's an issue that could be a national issue, not necessarily just a constituency issue, that think that, and remember, these are people that have never spent time in government before, that think that it's okay to just go and sit with their prime minister, come up with a way of dealing with that, and then without going through cabinet. So the other ministers who are affected, for instance, you have their candidate in the town of St. George. Yeah, well, at least their former candidate. I don't know if they might be the candidate again. But anyhow, the candidate that they had in the town of St. George, who's the Attorney General. Yeah? She isn't given the report. And some of the people are living within a constituency that she would like to represent. And she believes she's representing in cabinet right now. Yeah? Ron Redhead. Some of the people living there are within the border for his constituency. And he isn't given the full report. It's not brought to cabinet, as according to the minister. You have to treat with the information carefully. So he talked to the prime minister in relation to it. That is a dangerous thing. Anybody that has sat in cabinet before can tell you that that statement is a very, very, very dangerous statement. Folks, I'm going to open the phone lines. It's 3 minutes after 9. The WhatsApp line is still down, but we can take calls, direct calls. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101 for those of you in North America. That is a dangerous statement. That tells you the state that the cabinet is in. No wonder they can't have the post-cabinet press briefings. Yes, I hear they have press briefing tomorrow and that kind of thing. I not advertise for them. They have the thing tomorrow, good. But it says a lot about the state of the cabinet when a minister on such an important issue that can cause significant hurt and pain to literally hundreds of people and their children, and cost the Grenadian people millions of dollars, and does not think that's important to take that issue to cabinet. That says a lot. We've got a call online. Good night.
Good night, Shalan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Go right ahead.
I heard the minister make a statement tonight on, I think it's on GBN. And he's saying it goes like that, something to that effect. Like the interior of the housing frequency, I think is, anyhow, those I was there before. They're talking about now with them people are doing, that they wasn't keeping them properly. What I'm saying is, if I rent a place, I supposed to keep the place properly. Supposed to keep the interior properly. Right? I don't think that is housing problem. But they had an agenda in head. Right? They come in and they take $2,000 and they put on their salary. Why Mr. Telesford didn't call all the people and them in the housing department that renting or they didn't pay or whatever it is, and hold a meeting with all of them and come up with a solution to help these people and them. But they come with an agenda. Everything is about the NMP government that been there. Right? They want to throw everything on the NMP government. What they want to do is to put them people out on the street. They want to throw everybody out on the street. It's a blind people. It are sick people. You have to come in to help these people and them. Right? All Mr. Telesford and them doing is for people to get up and start to make ruction in Grenada. We have to start to get up because they're doing too much. Too much. They're fooling their pocket. When they go in CKs, they had a trolley fooling with a big box of ghost trees and them. Right? Others don't want to live. Others don't want to survive too. Eh? Shalan, thanks.
All right, my dear. 440-7377 and 347-329-310. And in no way, let me make it clear, in no way am I saying that these people should not pay. I'm not saying that. In some instances, I think, yeah, if you have an elderly person, they're in the 60s, they're in the 70s, this person has a place, they may have different medical conditions and so on. I see, give the person the place now, man. They could give a man who you could have win in court $22 million according to what one commenter was saying here just now. A man who would have lose the case, you give him $22 million. But you can't find the money to say, well, a 72-year-old person or a 60-something-year-old person that's in one of these apartments and can't afford to pay for it, that you're going to just gift it to them. We have a caller online. Hello, caller, you're live.
Yeah, hello, good night. Shalon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to ask a question because I saw something today and it was like, okay, let me explain. Mm-hmm. Now, the Grenada government bought back the hotel, right?
Yes, they now own that property, and in fact, I think the Prime Minister will be speaking more about that tomorrow. I'll be listening.
Yeah, but I passed today and see what's going on because I was like, what? How? Because when I pass, I see those guys and them like putting on tiles and stuff and we were like, I was thinking how fast that happened, and if he bought back the company, right? He bought back the buildings. Grenada government have to get contractors. They have to get this food. They have to get people to, as you all see, you have to get somebody to take on the project, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I pass it today and I see guys doing work inside it. Who paying them? Who own the building? Grenada government. So why it is work start and the Grenadian people don't know nothing what's going on.
And you see,
so I want to ask a question: if work should, if it should or will start so early. Last week was I think they said they brought back the police. How this week is work is going on? What happened? Something wrong?
What I would say is this: I find it extremely disrespectful that after they've completed all the thing, then they come to tell us.
That's it.
After they complete all the thing, then they come in. I could understand that. Okay, government is owning it now, and they do a cleanup or something.
Yeah.
So that a potential investor would look at it and say, well, okay, if they look at it run down, dirty and that kind of thing, they might want to offer one thing. But if it's cleaned up, you offer. So I could understand in that context. But I mean, at least come to the Grenadian people. So when they see, as you have seen, people inside there doing something, you understand, well, this is what's taking place. But again, it's communication. They just refuse to communicate. They don't think they have to talk to us.
And I want to go at that point with the John T. Keys, but I will leave that for next time.
Okay, my brother.
Because
you realize I leave that one alone myself, so.
I find it real funny. As you know. You know who you're talking to. You know the person you're talking to.
I find I know the voice and shoot.
Yeah.
We go link up, man. We go see.
Okay.
All right, brother.
All right.
Yes, indeed, folks. And I think I've got the WhatsApp sorted out. It's just loading right now. So you can call the WhatsApp in about 5 minutes time. Yeah, it's going to take a little while before it starts up there. So you can call me on the WhatsApp. I think I've sorted that out. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. We've got a caller. Good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hey, good night. How are you doing?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay.
Okay, go right ahead.
Brother Sheldon, I do believe all the people that living in the low-income house, I have no doubt that they don't want to pay. Brother Sheldon, they want to pay. They want to pay. But Brother Sheldon, when you take away the bread and butter from the liquor that they were getting, and they're getting less to nothing, and you have the price of food, the price of food still go up, water bill going up, light bill going up, everything going up, it becomes very difficult for them to pay. We're not saying that people should not be paying. And I do believe what the government should do, meet the people, negotiate with them, and try to see if the government could try and see they could give them a haircut. Bring it down, because the government will be asking for a haircut. Right? The government should try and reach out and help people meet with them, discuss with them, right, and let them know what the government. So then the government they could say, well, yes, we want to pay. Not that we don't want to pay. We want to pay. But things are. I believe the government knew that, because if them are the one, the government is the one that took away money in their hand, what they were getting. So I think the government should meet these people, negotiate with them, and come up with a solution how to make it easier for the people to pay. Right? People to continue paying. Right? But when you look at this thing again, you have people that walk in. People get money in their hand. They get loans. And they could pay. And they don't, but I could see that if a man have money, you're paying. Okay, you have money, you're paying. But when you have the people that you take away bread and take away the little money that we're getting, and they get next to nothing, they have to survive. And when you look up and down, you have food. You have to buy food. You have to go pay what's going on. You cannot save your food. And basically, you're alone living at home, you are required to pay, you have other things to do. And then money down. So I don't think none of the people, they willfully don't want to pay. They want to pay. But the things hard, and the government do that. The government should reach out and help them. So I consider this a government, they don't have a heart for the poor class of people. And they should try and see what they could do for the people. They do it give tax amnesty for the rich people, the friends and the business friends. They should reach out and help these people that need. They need. But you know how happy it will be when you go in a home where you feel comfortable, right? And at home you have a home and there is no current, nothing inside, not afraid, right? And most of all, when you live inside and they throw you out, right? And this is not, as I was saying, that is not a private home. That is the government place. This is the government low-income housing. So the government is the one that should reach out and help. I could see if a private home and a man do that, well, government will watch these people who labor and who sacrifice for the Ghanaian people. Even some of the young people that are there, right? Some of them, they might walk in. But anything that the government could do to assist the people, do it to assist them, because they are all growing them. The senior citizens that are living there, they make sacrifice. Those who live in there with their children, they have the children go to school, and things hard. So So the government should reach out helping, not only helping the rich people who have already. And when the rich man have money in hand, they still pay.
All right, brother. All right, thank you. 440-7377. That is the number to call, 347-329. And you can call on via WhatsApp right now. It's up and running. So if you want to call via WhatsApp, you can call us. Yeah, I'm saying simply that the same energy that's used to do things for themselves, they must use that to do for the less fortunate in our country. The same energy that they use within not even 6 weeks of coming into office to give themselves the type of salary that they gave themselves, use that same energy to assist the people who are living in that place now. Those places. We've got a call online. Good night.
Good night, Senator Scott.
Hey, good night, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just listening to you there. Senator Scott, the Grenada government, the new government, give the business a break. Over $5 to $6 million. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, it's because of the pandemic. It's because of what went on with this COVID thing. Why we can do the same for the low houses, the people in the project. Most of them is not working, was not even working at the time. You know, you was in Grenada and you know how tough that was. And all what Dr. Mitchell tried to help the people. You know? How dare you could get into office with all your lies and then telling the Grenadian people, you know, you're talking to them like, they're under a drill. You understand? You should go to the people. What I think, go sit down among the people. Go to each project where you have people. Have meetings with them. Sit down with them. You know? And give them a break. And if you say, we're going to give you 2021, 2022, or whatever, and when we start the 2023 or 2024, you have to pay from that. And those who cannot pay, we're going to find a way. But first, if the people cry out to you and say, look, the little thing you used to give us, you take it away. You must have to find a way in the few months coming up to put it back. You want them to pay, and you're threatening them. You don't have a heart, man.
My brother, understand something here.
More than the one.
Some of these people are retirees, you know. They have only their local pension coming in. The price of medication doubling. The price of food stuff going up every time you step out the supermarket and you go back in. And these are the same people you're threatening? Come on, man.
But look at the money you take for yourself. You're looking to all of that. How could I take $2,000 and saying, oh, they're working for enough, because otherwise I just stop them from stealing and all kind of thing. You understand what I mean? You're not talking to children. You're talking to big men and women. You understand? You have to think first before you act. You know? Nobody have a problem you take money and give the teachers. Nobody have a money that you take $500 and give in the nurses. You understand what I mean? But this is not about bribing. So why do you want to bribe everybody except the poor people? Except the poor. You understand? You're putting pressure on the poor. Not sometimes, at all times. Why are you doing that? Every time you guys get into office, or you attacking the poor people. Why? What they have done to deserve that? You understand? Take a look at all yourself, man. Most of us go up. In the morning we get up, just to drink a little bit of hot water, a black sage tea. You understand? Just bring a little sugar. Come on, guys. Do better than that, man.
My friend, one of the dangerous things here, though, is that statement by the minister in relation to not bringing the information to cabinet. Cabinet is the highest decision-making body in government and the country outside of parliament. That's the next highest decision-making body. And I mean, how could you not bring that information? Say you mentioned some of it in Parliament, and you mentioned some in in cabinet, but a report on the entire thing, you refuse to submit the report.
Come on, man.
And
This guy
saying
go to school. He should know better than that.
he's basically saying that
You
he does
understand?
not trust he does not trust the members of cabinet with that information. That's what he's
I
saying.
listen to you. I listen to you. I listen to what he said.
He basically doesn't trust the other members of cabinet, and that is a danger. I'm wondering if he's the only minister. Next thing, you have other ministers who have very important reports and are not submitting it so that all are on the same level. I think I lost the caller. He must have hit the button. Yeah, it's a dangerous thing. What you're having here is a situation that ministers may not be reporting to cabinet, but may be reporting directly to the prime minister. This minister has opened a Pandora's box in relation to what is possibly taking place in what should be our government right now. What do you mean you're not reporting to cabinet? You ain't bringing it to cabinet. You don't trust your cabinet, your own cabinet. You ain't trust, not my cabinet, you know. You own it. We have a caller online. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Good night, Mr. Scott.
Hi, sir. Good night to you, sir.
And good night to Grenada.
All right. Go right
Mr.
ahead.
Scott, I don't think the minister understand what he said.
I don't think so either.
No, you don't understand what he said.
He could never understand that.
I mean, he let me down a lot of times, but he let me down again. You know, I don't think he understand what he said. Because for you to tell the nation that you bring part to cabinet, but you don't think you should bring it, and you giving the instruction to the board. That is why you just said that the chairman resigned. If that
Not
is
the
true,
chairman, the manager.
the manager, if that is true, that is why the man resigned. Because if he refused to get the cabinet blessing on it, I don't understand.
And by saying the report is so bad, he's basically reflecting on the manager, you know.
Yes.
Because you was managing it when this terrible report was put together. So he's
And
basically
I am
reflecting. So I could
satisfied that-
understand, because I believe the manager there was an excellent manager. I believe the gentleman is well qualified. He knows what he's about. He's a well-liked person. He does his job. And for a minister to come out and make that kind of statement, which reflects bad on him, I would understand if he really did walking this morning and hand in his resignation.
Yeah, I could see the reason why. And doesn't government supposed to have a management board, a set of personnel to look at the well-being of the houses over a period of time?
Well, no, that's why you have the Housing Authority of Grenada.
Right. So the housing
And then
authority
they have a board of directors.
the
over
housing
there.
authority should know whether they need repairs, the places need repairs or so. Yeah, I mean, come on, that is for housing.
But they are flipping it now onto the people that not just are not paying, but might not even be able to pay. Remember, some of these people, for a whole 2 years, they haven't worked, you know. They really ain't work.
But that's the next concern I was coming with you, because the Prime Minister told us, the farmers, that your marketing board owe 15 million, but take half. So you're asking every farmer to take half. The Prime Minister told his cabinet members he's giving them $2,000 more. He didn't discuss that with nobody. He gave it to them. The Prime Minister telling the business people that we're giving you a break. But you won't discuss with the people that owing housing a break. You won't discuss anything with them. So to me, the Prime Minister is not consistent in what he's doing. Because by right, the people have to pay. If you're living in a place and you have to pay for the upkeep of the place, you have to. But just the same way.
I would say this, brother. I would say, yes, he's consistent in what he's doing. He's consistently ensuring that the poorer people in this country, the people at the lower income level or no income level, they are the ones that are paying the price.
Well,
so if you were under seed,
because I can't see how you could tell.
150 gone.
Yeah.
You understand? If you were under seed, you're 150 gone, or you might be totally out of seed too. You have a lot of people that applied, for instance, for assistance for back to school. They didn't get it. Some people still waiting. They say they're still waiting, you know, including a lot of their own supporters. They sit down there, they say, I'm waiting on them because I apply. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't get nothing. All sorts of things. But when it's there, up there, friends, you could find $22 million and give to our investor. Yeah, man, get him, man.
No,
Crash
I
the case
don't
and give
think
him.
they're thinking wisely, because I mean you can, what is good for the goose should be good for the gander,
Of course.
and you can't want to cheat one set. The ministers, for that matter, I heard the same minister tell us, for our next minister said that they have to work hard and they have to be within the districts every time. But what somebody the other civil servants has to be the same thing, and the civil servants, for them to get an increase, you have to negotiate. There was no negotiation for these $2,000 for them, and I ain't saying they don't need it. But if you don't have a negotiation for some, how you having for some? If you don't have a discussion with some, how you having for some? There was no discussion. This thing, and you give them $2,000, whether they need it, it was well needed. Okay, I don't have a problem with that, because ministers must be paid properly. But you tell the farmers to take half of the money. So why are you doing it with some?
But you're a farmer, so the field farmers, them could take half their money, man, forget them. You know, people under seed, forget them. We could take that
I don't think that is nice. I
take
think
them out.
the primates have to come better than that.
People in the low-income houses, next up, could call you out. You understand?
Yeah,
there's the political aspect of looking at it, but it's just the uncaring nature.
Yeah.
All right, my brother. All right, thank you. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's I want more to play, you know. You have a next one I'll play in a little while. 440-7377. I think we have a call on the WhatsApp. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon. Good night, Dr. Point School.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead. You're live.
Right. Sheldon, what is actually amazing to me is that there were two press conferences Friday, right? One with the Housing Authority and one with the police.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, those press conferences to me wasn't announced. I haven't seen any announcement, pronouncement, nothing like that.
The one in relation to the Housing Authority was announced. The one in relation to the police was announced on Friday morning. So I can tell you they were announced. The one with the Housing Authority was announced. Yeah, but I'm telling you they were announced. It was announced. Because I don't want people to leave with the wrong impression. The one for the Housing Authority was announced. It was announced at least 2 days before. I think about Tuesday evening or Wednesday. It was announced. But it was announced it would be live. Then they came back and they said it wouldn't be live. And then after we cussed on Thursday night, they came with it live on Friday morning. So it was announced.
Right. So I was hearing that, right? So that's the reason I was trying to get a clarity, because I was in ambiguity Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
No, the reason why I'm saying this is because the information I was given out Friday morning in connection with the Housing Authority and what has been said and what has been going around the spectrum of the place now, to me, no, I will say, if you owe your dues for your place, pay your dues.
No, they have to pay. Everybody is getting at that. Yes. Everybody's saying they have to pay. But it's how you go about
so
it.
At least we need to get this in clear. We, I'm an NNP supporter, NNP party member. I advocate pay your dues. But what I'm seeming to be hearing is that only NNP people that had these buildings are delinquent. And Sheldon, and this is where I just get a little bit uptight, because too many times now we are hearing, you see, I am hearing things and other people will not listen to it. No, a preamble to that was when a certain speaker, a certain guy on radio say, these people across there is classless, so the Prime Minister not supposed to live up in Mongwell, up there, right?
Okay, watching across to the same Mount Gay, eh?
Right.
Yeah, from Mount Royal, from Mount Royal as it is, you're looking across to Mount Gay, right?
Yeah. Right. So these people are causing now, when they heard that, I guess they will not take it into hindsight that this would have been happening, right? Secondly, they attack other people in other villages, right? They go to the Lakalum area, they say they fixed it, and then they tell them, well, you had to pay for it. Yes, you had to pay if you fix something in that area, you had to pay for it. So what the NDC is doing, and I keep saying it, the NDC supporters doesn't seem to understand that the members of parliament right now, each and every one from A to Z, is a facade. One of them had to win his seat or else he will take a jail. Another one had to win his seat or else he can't get license. And so it goes. We ain't calling no name. But it's about time, Shalon, we get down. Because you see what been happening for the last 9 years? NNP ministers, from Honorable Dr. Mitchell to Simon Steele, Honorable Steele, these men take licks, and we was not supporting and like defending these men. Right now, if any one of these ministers, even if they walk across the road, they might be saying, well, clap them and say this and say that, look the honorable this and honorable that. And this, we are coming very dangerous. We are coming a dictatorship. And if Grenadians cannot see it, I am seeing it. This thing I heard, this minister said in that press conference, because I listened to it over and over, and I was trying to grasp what this man is saying about he not going, he didn't bring it to the cabinet, and then he scratched behind his head. Look at this man body, this man body language and his movements. Tonight, on a certain program, another session, this guy, this minister and the prime minister is on together. No, when these men make this kind of blunders,
why you advertising other people thing on my program, brother?
Well, I never say which station. I say they honor.
Yeah, why you advertising other man thing on my show, bro?
Well, my bad. But anyhow,
yeah.
what I'm saying is that anytime these men do the little blunder, the PM will come in now and try to swoop and try to save them. And I'm seeing it happening over and over and over. It happened with Mr. Lacret when he made a statement with the nurses. He was paying 500 and he had to do it because he didn't really mean it. Then Mr. Ron say, what? When man feels sweet. No. Two more things. I saw a video, Shalon, sometime during either Saturday or Sunday, and I was rather shocked at the video. One, the video was very profanity-laced. Two, the video was very telling. Now, if that's the case, the level we reach in Grenada, we are going to go down a road that we don't want to go down. Secondly, the charging of an individual with the murder case. Now, that one also has some kind of things on me because I just try to figure out, people can be in jail for 40 years. There's things called, and I'm not saying that happened in Grenada, but there are things called forced confessions, and there are innocent people in jail that will actually get vindicated 40 years, 60 years, 70 years afterwards. I'm not saying that's the case in Grenada, but certain things doesn't add up in certain things I'm seeing. That's my opinion. But what I will tell the government, you guys, you all have an next, 4 and some years to go again. Try to do better, please, and try to talk to your supporters. And Shalon,
yes, sir.
you and certain members have to put some lawsuits on some people's desk because they go down too much. They go down too much.
Let it ride.
No, serious. It's about no. It's about time.
Let it ride.
Sue them. No. Drag them to court because the mud big. Drag them to court.
All right, brother. I hear you.
Have a good night.
All right, 44073. Oh Lord, I'm punching on this WhatsApp. Yeah, 4407377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Folks, remember to like and share. Like and share. Everybody take 30 seconds right now. Like and share. Let me do it to you. Like, right, and a share. Nice, right. Like and share. Like the live and like the YouTube and share. All right, nice. Yeah, I'm watching something there. I think we have a call online. Hello, good night.
Yes, good night.
Good night, brother. How are you?
They, based on what I hear, they know it's better the man resign and done and call a by election, man.
Resign. Joke all making with that. Resign way. Joke all making with that.
This party going on too much, man.
Make sure they get registered. Make sure everybody registered. Make sure you do your canvassing. You do what you had to do, and prepare yourself for an election. When time for the election come, resign away. They may resign and do it.
Most of the people there, elderly with them, with their grandchildren, people they walk in the way, After they take away the work from them and send them home, they want to fight them down for money. That we're paying them money, and at the end of the day, they can't put out everybody. That is stupidest, man.
Well, see, it's not just that.
For that party to just resign and walk out. Goodbye.
All right, my brother. It's not just that, but it's the way that this thing has been done. It makes everybody that's there suspect. Was they would say on the streets in further down south in Trinidad, yeah, they'd say a sus. Yeah, it make everybody in them place sus. Because everybody watch about it now. She living there, she putting on nice clothes and go to work every day, but she don't pay she rent. Yeah, here they had to kick her out just now from the place. They make everybody who is living in these places, some of the people who have been keeping up, some of the people who have had challenges but they're trying to pay. In fact, I'm seeing from one person here that they work with government and their payments towards Housing Authority has been coming out of their salary. And then they receive a payment from Housing Authority that they ain't getting paid. They haven't been paid, but every month out of their salary automatically, those payments have been made, taken out of their salary for the Housing Authority. But for some reason, within the government system, it didn't reach to the Housing Authority. Yeah? So I'd say to that person as well, you all need to check your NIS and see if your NIS is being paid as well. Because if they're doing that with the Housing Authority, the next thing they could be doing that is with the National Insurance Scheme. So check and see if your payments are being made. 440-7377. And for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101. That's specifically for those of you in North America. Wherever you are in North America, you can call us on that number. It counts as a local call. That's 347-329-3101. All right, I think we have a caller on the WhatsApp. Let me just get over to the WhatsApp number here. Yeah, as I told you all, it's been operating kind of slow these days. We've got the caller. Good night. Hello.
Hello, Sheldon. Good night. How are you?
Are we?
Yeah, man. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, well, I'm planning how to start. I'm enjoying the program from the beginning, right?
All right. Thank you.
But, yeah, Sheldon, what I really called to speak about, especially the Grandins tennis court, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I traveled in maybe about 3 days back. And when I watched the condition of down there, I remember time gone by, you go Grandin's court, there's a little party, little session. But when I watch the condition of down there, it is not in a good state. Apparently they may be break down, looking to break back up, to build back up, sorry. And the person, Sheldon, I think I always say, I look for my facts, you look for your facts, you come on straight. Who vex with you, vex with you. Who like you, who don't like you. At the end of the day, we are one flesh and blood. And what I'm trying to say, Sheldon, when I pass on the other day, maybe about 2 or 3 guys up and down, water boots in the foot, walking up and down. And what I really want to point out tonight is, Sheldon, the person who have that contract for down there is a God-believing man. Every Sunday you're on the radio, every Sunday you're on the TV, every Sunday preaching about the word of God. But remember, the Lord give it and the Lord take it. And I want people to know exactly, Pastor Sanford Simon, get your facts straight. You are the contractor on that court, get things going. I'm telling you the truth. Get things going, because you build down, you break down, start to build up. And the next thing I want to say, before I go, because this is my time to go around and watch my international news, I want the people of Grenada to know that at least the government, for the time they came into office, I think they maybe spent about 1.5 or $1.6 million only on traveling. And I want the people of Grenada to know, Sheldon, when they're traveling, they go with a boyfriend, they go with a girlfriend. Sheldon, have a good night.
All right, brother. And Ari, you notice I didn't stop you, because I was about to tell you, if you want to find out what's going on with the Grandin's court, remember back in the days when you had the newspaper, they used to have a section, a column in it, like you're writing your letters and it's Ask Pastor. Yeah, if you want to find out what's going on with the Grandin's court, ask Pastor. Yeah, that's where you're going to know what's going on. I don't know what's going on down there. As the thing, I'd like to congratulate the MP. Well, I find it strange. I want to congratulate the MP for completing the project that was started by Honorable Senator Cox. Yeah, I see putting up the lights in Montrouge and thing, and them lights and them in the different playing fields in the south that Senator Cox had organized, that the people said they wanted and Senator Cox organized. I realize I see the lights in Montrouge going up and thing. Yeah, so they're looking nice and thing. So congratulations, Senator Nolan Cox, on that wonderful initiative. And congratulations, Andy, on completing it. You understand? Nice. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Folks, you know, it have another clip I want to play, you know. Yeah, I ain't finished with them yet. But as I mentioned, Andy, before I get to the next clip, Papayo, all you remember this? All you remember that, right? Because all you know the price of gas today, right? All you know the price of gas today. Because I want to know if all you remember that statement and when that statement was made and so on. Do you all remember that statement? The 17th of September 2022. That is just a year and a day ago. Yeah, a year and a day ago. That statement was made by the MIT Minister of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation. I see a lot of people sharing it, but you know something? A lot of people don't understand just how stupid that post was, you know. You know how stupid that post was? Why cap it at 15 when we can give you for less? When it was capped at 15, it didn't mean that if the price fall below 15, you had to pay 15. It meant that if the price fall below 15, you pay whatever that price was. So if it was $13, you pay 13. If it was $14, you pay 14. If it was $12, you pay 12. But it was capped at 15, which meant that if the price went over $15, if when they calculated the price for that month was over $15, instead of paying that price, you paid $15. So like right now, you're paying $1.88 more than you would have been paying had the cap remained. So the cap was there. So they say, why cap it when we can give you for less? That was absolute nonsense. Stupidity. It showed that the individual didn't even understand what I was talking about. If you could get the cap, meant that you got it for less. So it meant that if it was 16 or 17 or 18, that you didn't pay 16, 17 or 18, that you paid 15 because it was capped, it was blocked, it was stopped at 15. Right? But if it was 12, they didn't say, well, it's 12, we're selling it at 15. They didn't say it was if it's 13, we're selling it at 15. You didn't say if it was lower than 15, we're going to put it at 15. Whatever the price was when it lower, you pay that. But if the price was higher than $15, it would be rolled down to $15. But now they took it out, and they was boasting, as you could see, 1 year and a day ago. Yeah, the MIT minister was boasting they enjoy the new gas price tomorrow. Why cap it at $15 when we can give you for less? Well, it's $16.88 right now. So let me hear what you're saying now. I see a new post. Anybody see a new post from him in relation to that? Anybody see a new post? If I see a new post, let me know. 440. You didn't even know what you're talking about. He was doing like if the price was $14, you were saying pay 15. Or if the price was 12, you were saying pay 15. No, if the price was 12, you pay 12. If it was 14, you pay 14. But if it was $16.88, as it is right now, you would pay 15. So he was boasting about increasing the price for you. And a lot of people just didn't understand that. Mathematics is not my strong point, but I think I have a little bit of common sense. So I just try to sprinkle it every now and again when I get a chance. Folks, let me pull up this this clip for you because I want you all to hear what is being said now about home distribution. Remember, on this program, on Thursday and on Wednesday, we did call on the government to say what is taking place in relation, what is the latest with the low-income homes, when they would be distributed and when people would be able to get those homes and so on. So let's hear what the response in relation to that particular question was. Let me just make sure the audio is up there. Let's just hear what the response in relation to that question was.
Minister, before you go, can you provide an update on the housing in Carriacou and St. David's? These are among the last batches of Chinese houses that are yet to be delivered. Can you tell us what are the status of these properties and when they will be handed over? At one time in the parliament, you mentioned it would be done in June. We are now in September.
Yes. So the intention was to have it done by June, to coincide with the first anniversary of our being in office. However, there are a lot of moving parts. The committee did submit its report for the distribution of the units. There is a sort of work plan that is being rolled out, and I think by the end of this month, there is going to be another press conference to treat with the distribution of these homes. So as soon as that is done and the information is submitted to myself and to cabinet, we will be in a position to answer you properly as far as the distributions are concerned. What I must say though is that the cabinetry is nearing completion. I'm told by the end of September all of that is going to be done, but that does not hinder in any way the process, because our intention really is to ensure that people can get in their homes by December 2023. That's our intention. We hope that we're able to achieve all of our targets. But I must say to you that the committee is working hard at it to try to have all of the stuff implemented. I'm looking forward to the game plan, the rollout of the plan as to how they intend to have this done and what timelines are going to set in place. I am informed by the chairman that his board will organize another press conference to treat with this. This is fully and totally now in the hands of the Housing Authority of Grenada. The government has done what it needs to do in terms of the report that was submitted, and so we look forward to their rollout. Thank you.
Let me add, as the chairman, we intend to do a press conference on the 29th, and that will deal with all the procedure and procedures to owning the unit, from getting a loan and financial as well as legal. So, and the handing out of the letters to the recipients, the successful candidates. So all of that would be dealt with on the 29th of September. So that's in about 2 weeks' time.
Now, folks, I want to find out something here. Now, one, we kept getting different deadlines coming down in relation to these houses. And I kind of was hoping that one of the questions that came up there would be in relation to the people in Carriacou, and that were already given, and then it was taken back, if these people would be able to get back their houses and so on, what considerations were taking place in relation to them. I was hoping that that question came through, but it did not at that time. Maybe another opportunity. They said the 29th, they'll be doing another press conference. I hope that that question is able to come up at that point in time. So we now hear that they're hoping that the people can move in by December, right? So that date has changed again. We were hearing June, and we were hearing in for the first anniversary. So they were taking political considerations in relation to a social issue, because you have people that need these homes, but they were looking at a political consideration. We want to do it on the first anniversary. So we go and hand out the houses that we had nothing in doing in negotiation, nothing in doing in building, nothing in doing in painting, nothing to do with them at all, except that we in government now we had to hand it over, but we want to do it on the first anniversary in office to look like we did something. So that was the consideration that they had in relation to those houses. Not that there are many people out there who need these houses, need. They're going through hell with the rentals that they are in right now, or even situations that they have to bunk and try and stay in when they could have been in one of these houses already. They talk about the cabinets and so. Yeah, they talk about the cabinets and so. And I've heard a story in relation to a bunch of cabinets that were bought ready-made instead of people here building and putting in. And the proper procedure in relation to procurement was not taken. Just that they get somebody and the person just buy the thing and bring it in. Didn't see any bidding taking place. The proper procurement procedure as is laid down in the law did not take place in relation to those cabinets. But we're hearing that those cabinets are there and they're going to be placed and different things. So when the 29th come up, we have some more questions to ask in relation to the entire setup. Yeah? And again, they keep trying to pull themselves out as government and say housing authority, housing authority. So right now they're setting themselves up to say that if you realize it's only people of one political party or friends and relatives of certain people in political parties that getting apartments or the majority of apartments whose name wasn't even in the pool before to get one of these apartments. But since June 23rd last year and the reopening of the process for people to register to get these houses, that these people all of a sudden, they end up in front of the line when they wasn't even in the line at all. But now they end up in the front of the line and people who signed up probably since the pile and them driving to build these places, that these people ain't get. They want to be able to say, no, it's not we, it's the housing authority that do the thing. Meanwhile, they are telling the one or two people around the place, hey, don't worry, you'll get through. You're safe. I tell you, you're safe. You're good to go. I could show you which apartment is yours. Up in Bujeju already. I could point you to your apartment in Corinth. Yeah? Up in Karaku. Wait, did it get a girl an apartment? I know she own. Who cares if she had 2 children? But that is your apartment. Who cares if there's a young couple? We don't care if 2 of them is teachers. That's a business. Let her go and rent elsewhere. We ain't getting them no apartment. That is what is taking place. So we are waiting to hear more information in relation to the housing, those apartments that were constructed. You heard the minister, they were taking more of a political consideration in relation to this because they were looking at it from the perspective of we wanted to hand over those apartments on our first anniversary. That is not your achievement. We're trying to tie it in with your first anniversary for your fast. That is not your achievement. You're in government, you have to hand it over. The same way in government, you had to pay the pension. The NNP would have paid by now anyway. The same way all you paid, the NNP would have paid. The same way. But just the difference now would have been NNP would have already hand out those houses. People would have already settled into the houses and everything would have been going all well and okay. But I think you all may have missed something in the final part of what was being said there. And I want you all to listen to that again. When the chairman of the board was speaking in relation to this issue, listen carefully when he speaks.
On the 29th, and that will deal with all the procedure and procedures to owning the unit, from getting a loan and
You notice what he just said?
Will deal with all the procedure and procedures to owning the unit, from getting a loan and
In other words, the housing authority at this time is not going to give anybody a house and then you're paying like that. The housing authority is trying to get their money up front. So from what I'm hearing, you're being sent to, I'm not sure if it's the GDB or one of the commercial banks or the credit unions or wherever that people are being sent to. You get the money, you purchase the apartment, and then you face the institution, whether it be GDB or it be one of the banks or so. I'm saying, if you're doing that, and if you're doing it through GDB, make it an interest-free loan. Yeah, or at least a very, very low interest rate for the individuals that are going to have to do this. Yeah? Because I think it's a bit unfair, considering what others have gotten already, the precedent that's set there, how others have got and people have finished paid off and different things. And now you're saying these people, so before you qualify for the apartment, you got to be able to qualify for a loan. So a lot of people who were looking forward to these apartments may find themselves, I mean, how does a person in, they say, close to retirement, they're not retired yet, but close to retirement, and they applied for one of these, how do they get a loan? Because they generally don't give loans to people when you get to your 60s and them kind of thing, your late 50s, they start to watch your cut eye. That person only had 2 years working again, a year working again. They didn't want to give you a loan. Yeah? So how do you deal with these different individuals and these situations and so on? But I had been hearing that the approach was now that they're going to ask these same people who are, the reason they're going for the low income home is because they could barely afford where they are right now. That these same people are now going to have to be able to apply and secure a loan to purchase the apartment outright. So you're going to purchase the little house or the little apartment outright, housing authority get the money, and then you have to fight up with your interest rate with whichever institution it is that you get your money from. I think we need to get some more information in relation to that aspect. I think it's only right that people know exactly what is taking place when it comes to that, and they know what to do. And let's just hear it one more time.
Press conference on the 29th, and that will deal with all the procedure and procedures to owning the unit, from getting a loan and financial as well as legal. So, and the handing out of the letters to the recipients, the successful candidates. So all of that would be dealt with on the 29th of September. So that's in about 2 weeks' time.
And I have a nice question on that too, How many of the people who are going to be receiving letters before December, as they're saying, how many of them were successful before? In other words, they were already in the pool to get one of those apartments. And how many are people that just, how does put it now, chop the line? So there was in the back and all of a sudden they cut across, they're in front. Yeah? They chop the line. They're right to the front now. In fact, some of them in Champion, they stamp the line and they're in the front of it. So we need to know those kind of things. I hope they have those figures and things, because that's questions I think people should be asking. When it comes to the people who were okayed, for instance, you have a number of them in Carriacou, they were okayed and so on. Yes, these are the people and so on. Do they still qualify? Do they have to go through that process? Are they still going to get the apartment what their friends and their family and so on send stuff from the States and they went and they make their hire purchase and so on, different items for the apartment? Are these people still going to get the apartment? These people who have paid down for the light and the water and everything to be connected, some of them already paid. Are these people going to receive the apartments? What is the situation in relation to that? Yeah, if they want to, somebody said they go not have the they go have the conference, man. They go have it. They go have it. Yeah, believe me, they go have it. All right, folks, that's coming in. Yeah, I can't take any more calls right now because we nearly time for us to close off. Yes, indeed, folks, and it's very, very interesting. You all realize I haven't spoken about the police press conference, and the reason I haven't spoken about the police press conference, I'll say pretty quickly here, is this. I really and truly don't understand why they had a press conference. So I can't speak about something that I don't understand why they had it. Yeah? I could say that I think I know that there were political considerations being taken in relation to having that press conference at that point in time. You had a press conference to say that you can't say. So you had a press conference to say, we arrest a person this age from this area. So now everybody start to check the status to see if a picture of the person, if they know the person, because they don't know who the person is. So everybody start to suspect now, is this person, is that person? I saw pictures of about 4 different guys that were sent to me saying, this is the guy, this is the guy. One of the pictures ended up being the real guy. But about 4 pictures were sent to me saying, this is the guy, that's the guy that the police arrested. And so because people started speculating. So some people innocently, people start to watch them and say, well, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one. Yeah? I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand the importance of being careful with information in relation to national security issues. It's sometimes why I don't make certain condemnations that I can make here. I don't say it. And some serious things I could say. But I don't say it because I understand the importance when it comes to security and especially national security. I also understand what the term sub judice means. Yeah? When it comes to issues that go before the court. And how, when you put these things out in the public, it may influence the potential jury pool in relation to the outcome of a case. So I understand all of that. Yes, so I could understand where you might ask Superintendent Pierre certain questions and he say, we can't respond, we can't answer that and so on. There are some definitely that could be responded to. But again, that press conference the police had was due to political considerations and not due to we want to inform the public. Because if you wanted to inform the public, you'd have come and say at a point in time that you could do that. We have detained and charged person A with this crime. Yeah, that is what you would have said. Also, I see out in the public space a WhatsApp message that ought never to have been placed in the public domain in relation to a murder that took place a couple weeks ago. Because in my humble view, that text message, by the time it reached in court, it getting thrown out because you have dirtied the jury pool now with that information. It also places, because there's a name in it, so it places anybody by that name that these individuals know in danger and anybody around them, because if somebody could go and fire over 9 to 15 shots to kill an individual, who tells what somebody who going after them can do? So everybody would be placed in danger who is in close proximity to that individual as well. Because when they come in for one, they ain't leaving witnesses. Yeah? So I think that whoever it is, wherever it is, who released that information into the public, they need to be a lot more careful. The bullet that going behind that person might take one of your own family, might take you. So you have to be careful when you're releasing certain information. As I said, I didn't want to speak much about the press conference on Friday. We'll see what takes place in court. They said this is what I have my own views in relation to it. I have my own views in relation to that. All I would say to end the program is there is no statute on limitation in relation to murder. So if they had the right person, good. If they don't have the right person, there is no statute of limitation in relation to murder. Right? So it could be 10, could be 15, could be 20 years. Whenever the evidence surfaces that proves any connection, the law will take its course. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you in everything you say and do. Do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. I'm out of here tonight. Yeah, let me leave you all with this one.
If you were ever born and you know it more for sure. Anytime that the buck is passed, the poor man have to wait for last. It's a shame and disgrace the abuse the poor have to face. Simply because the rich man don't care about the